Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to Stump the Idiot. I am the huge one again, the idiot Dave Koco from DAVCoco.com, and I am tagged up with the Idiot Express, Boom Boom. And we got some more Stump the Idiots. This one is from Golden Star Alex. He says, who was a wrestler you were a huge fan of when you were younger, and you wanted to see them get a long WWE, WCW title run, but it never worked out? And it can't be one of those short title reigns. I had actually Wikipedia stuff, but I guess just a title run in WWE or WCW that you thought, hey, this guy should have had a long title run. He would have been amazing. All right, Booms, who do you want? Who do you want to go first, sir?
Oh, you know what? I'll go first.
All right.
I started thinking about it because the question, for one, this question you're about to find out how just fucking old me and Coco are. Because I started thinking about, okay, I'm thinking about the time when I was a kid, when I first started watching wrestling. I had to think of somebody I was actually a fan of, not people who deserve it, who I think in hindsight deserved it but never did. I had to think it was somebody that I was a fan of, and then someone and they never won a world title is what I had to think of. Because I mean, there were some people, like, for example, like, Cactus Jack. He never won the WCW championship, but later on in his career, he won the WWF championship.
Yeah.
So, with all those parameters in mind, I guess out of all those, I think the one that qualifies for this would probably be Dustin Rhodes.
Oh, nice. Former
I was,
ACW
I,
champion. Go ahead.
you know, I was a fan of him when I was really young because he was starting out. I think he'd wrestled somewhat a little bit with his dad in the WWF at the time, and then crossed over to WCW. And he was a white meat baby face. He was somebody that I really got behind. He had the pedigree. He'd have so much sympathy. I mean, he had some pretty good technical skills, and just for whatever reason, he never could make that transition to be a world heavyweight champion. He just never could. Now, that's not to say that he had a bad career. He would then jump to the WWF, become Gold Dust, go through that. He battled some personal demons, but luckily came out the other side a better person. He beat those, and now he's working for All Elite Wrestling, and now he's training the next generation of professional wrestlers. But he never got his time to shine as to be a world heavyweight champion. Tag team champion, yes. Intercontinental champion, yes. United States champion, yes. 24/7 champion, yes. Just never could break that glass ceiling and become the world heavyweight champion. And I think it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, definitely. Because especially when we were younger, we're older gentlemen. Gentlemen, we're using loosely. Dustin Rhodes was crazy over when he first came on the scene at WCW, and had all the potential in the world. So, yeah, boom, boom. Your childhood dreams would have came true if WWE or WCW hired me. I mean, right. Dustin Rhodes champion, ACW champion. He's such a great guy and would deserve such success. There's two guys I thought of, and then there's like that small ECW group. I was a huge ECW fan, so these are honorable mentions. RVD, Taz. I just thought they should have had it. I think RVD had a title for half a fucking second and then smoked it or something. I'm not really sure, but I thought Rob Van Dam was going to be Mr. Monday Night. He was going to be a star. He was going to be, shot to the moon. And that wasn't the case. And Taz, even though now he's just Hook's dad in a podcast who blames everything on the fans, he was fucking on top of his game. I got two, boom, boom. And it's close.
Right,
my number one, like the name that popped in my head instantly, was Mike Awesome. I just thought he had it all. I have no idea how he didn't do well in WCW, WWE. Maybe it's politics. Maybe it's that. But he looked like $1 million it could go. There's so many wrestlers you see, and you're like, they look like $1 million. They can wrestle. They can go. They can do everything. And then they don't, like, it's not even they don't even get it like a fair shake. You know what I mean? There's some wrestlers now that look like $1,000,000 can go, and for some reason they just don't. You know, a Hernandez, a Cage. What what WCW and WWE wants and what the fans want, you're like, how did this not happen? You know? So to me, and you know, Vince and WCW love the way people look. You know what I mean? That's just a factor. And Mike Ice Awesome looked like that, but then he could also go. He could do hardcore. He could do amazing things. Some of the matches that he had in Japan and ECW were beyond amazing. I think he stole the greatest WWE pay-per-view of all time. You know, ECW's One Night Stand. I thought he stole the show. So to me, it was just, okay, this is everything you want. Why isn't it working? You know what I mean? And I think Brian Cage is kind of that way. And of course, I had to Wikipedia search this. This is my second one. I had to Wikipedia search this. I don't know if Muta ever had the WCW title. I thought for sure he did, but according to Wikipedia, he didn't. He had the Florida Championship Wrestling title, FCW, back in the day before it was, you know, NXT and before that, you know what I mean? And I just thought, even as a kid, I never understood why they didn't go overseas for great athletes, because when we were young, we had to go to magazines and read and tape trade and all this, and it was a lot of hard work. And I was just like, why, you know, if you're over here, if you're the World Wrestling Federation or World Wrestling Entertainment, World Championship Wrestling, WCW did it a lot better, you know. But I was just always like, why wouldn't you have the Japanese champ? Why wouldn't you have the Mexico champ? Why would, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you have the UK champ? To me, I just thought, growing up, pro wrestling should have had that sports element of the Olympics. And they did a little bit, but then they just got lazy. They're like, yeah, North Carolina guy, yeah, congratulations. You're now Russian. Hawaii guy, congratulations. You're now Japanese. I guess that's how they got around it. But I'd love to see the Great Muta have a championship, a long championship run. Because for some reason my brain's like, he was WCW champ. But Wikipedia's like, your brain is wrong. Sometimes you go look back in history and you're like, brain? Are you letting me down? So to me, my number one answer is Mike Awesome. My number 1A answer is the Great Muta. And it sucks because, you know, a lot of times you see people, they make mistakes and they fix them. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of guys that were as great as AJ Styles back in the day, but never got looked at, you know? And now here's AJ Styles being pushed to the moon. But even like today, Muta, there's no Okada. Mike Awesome, there's no Hernandez. There's no Brian Cage. So, I don't know. It's an interesting situation. But yeah, that's it. So, chat, who was a wrestler you were a huge fan of when you were younger? You wanted to see them get a long WWE, WCW title run, but it never worked out. WWE, I didn't think of this, but I was also thinking about people that were just already in the company. Mr. Perfect, Bam Bam Bigelow, you know? So, who's a guy that was in the company that, because we were thinking people that came in, but there's probably people that spent their whole lives. Roddy Piper. This could go on.
Yeah, Roddy Piper never won a world championship. Davey Boy Smith never won a world championship.
And the thing that makes it worse is back in the day, they didn't pass around the titles like everyone deserves it. They didn't do that. So it was harder to be champ. But now that they do it and pass it around, it makes it seem even worse for the Pipers of the world. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
if they had that same booking mentality then as they did now, Ted DiBiase would have been a heavyweight champion. Andre the Giant, actually, I mean, I know he was a champion, but they just kind of gave it to him and he sold it. But he actually would have had a title reign. Jake Roberts would have had his due. There's a lot of things that would have happened.
Oh, that's a fucking huge one right there. Jake the Snake was something amazing and something special, and who knows? But that's what you get when you get WWE and they push him to the top. I was gonna say, what about this Ric Flair kid? Did he get the title he deserved? But yeah, so it's an interesting topic, and nowadays stars still can't get to the top off talent and being over enough. And to me, I think that's got to be the hardest thing about being a pro wrestler is questions like this. because if you're an actor, eventually you get your break. There's other studios. If you're an athlete, you can get your break. But in wrestling, especially with WWE, it's up to like one crazy old man. That's it. That's what So it's a crazy time. So at least with competition, maybe Mudas and Mike Awesomes of the world can win more titles.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to record a couple of these today. So like, comment, subscribe. Me and Boom Boom always do an AEW Rampage watch party on Twitch KocoSports. We're KocoSports on everything. And hope to see you soon. April 1st, we retire. So, not me. I only retire, not Boom Boom. Boom Boom. Why don't you retire April 1st, dude? Come on, dude. We can do this full time. Boom.
You seem to forget, Coco. My retirement plan consists of a 6-foot hole in a pine box.
Got it. Well, we better not rush that to April 1st then.
Exactly.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. With that, I am over. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.